What's up, everyone? It's Henrik, your friendly crypto fool. On this channel, I invest my hard-earned money into foolish crypto projects to see which ones work and which ones are, well, total scams, so you don't have to risk your own money. In today's video, Vapor notes from Vapor Financials. What are they? What do they do? How much do they pay? And are they any good? VaporFi is yet another one of the oh-so-popular virtual node projects, which is essentially fancy speak for nodes that don't actually exist and hence don't actually do anything. If you watched any of my other videos, you might have seen that I like to refer to the way these projects work as the Superior Crypto Accumulation Method, or SCAM. Yeah. I've been in Vapor for about 3 weeks now with an initial investment of around $390, and I have a couple of nodes running. So what is VaporFi, or what do they claim to be? Well, on their website, they list the following: a community-driven DeFi protocol, a truly decentralized protocol earning investors passive income. And did you get that? Yeah, me neither. I mean, it's pretty and it sounds fancy, but it doesn't really tell us a whole lot. They do provide more detailed documentation on their Discord server, but that mostly tells you about how to invest and how to earn rewards from the project. So, like most of these virtual node projects, they are high on fancy words and statements, but low on actual information. VaporFi works the same way most of these virtual node projects work. They create a token, you buy their token, and then you give your tokens back to them. And for that, you receive a node of some kind, and based on the size of your node, you then earn rewards, which you can choose to have paid out to you, or you can put them back into your node instead. Why would anyone want to do that? Well, because putting rewards back into the node gives you the power of compounding, which will make your node grow and in theory give you much higher rewards in the future. So you swap your tiny earnings today for potentially giant earnings sometime out in the future. Another thing you should consider doing today is gently nudging the little like button and maybe even subscribing and turning on the little notification bell. Much like with the nodes, adding likes today will compound into a high value for the channel, and you will have my eternal gratitude for helping me out. But let's get back to rewards for you instead. VaporFi is very generous with their promised rewards. All nodes, regardless of size, get a base 1% reward per day. Think about that for a second. It's not 1% per year, but it's 1% per day. Historically, the US S&P 500 index has returned an average of 10.5% per year. So the S&P 500 returns 10.5%, but Vapor returns a whopping 3,678% annually. That means that if you were to put $100 into the S&P 500 today, a year from now, you can expect to have roughly $110.50. But if you take that same $100 and put it into a Vapor node, it will be worth $3,678 a year from now. And that's not even all. VaporFi also offers you a couple of bonuses on the top of the rewards, which we will get back to in just a minute. But first, let's look at what you need to do to get yourself one or more of these VaporFi money printing nodes. First, you need to get yourself some Vpnd tokens. That's the crypto coin that the VaporFi project created specifically for this project. You get these by first buying yourself some AVAX coins, which you can buy on most of the major crypto exchanges. Then you put those AVAX coins into your MetaMask wallet, or whichever wallet you prefer to use, and then you head on over to TraderJoeXYZ.com, where you can swap your AVAX coins for Vpnd coins. After that, all you need to do is connect your wallet to the VaporFi website, and then you can use your Vpnd tokens to create a node. Well, they call it creating, but in reality, you're actually just buying a node. This is a non-refundable purchase, so the funds you sink into your node, well, they disappear from your wallet for good. This is not unusual. In fact, it's kind of the norm for most of these virtual node SCAM projects. When you invest in a virtual node, you start out in the red immediately, and you're going to have to work your way back into the black over time. Unlike many of the other virtual node projects out there, VaporFi doesn't have different node sizes you can buy into. The minimum investment is 1,000 Vpnds, which currently is around $30. I do find this somewhat refreshing. In many of the other popular projects, you have to navigate different node sizes with different reward yields, which often leads to pressure to invest quite a bit more than you might have intended when you first set out. Not so with VaporFi. As long as you can afford the initial investment, you are good to go. VaporFi even rewards smaller investors through a specific bonus structure. If you have a node that's less than 5,000 Vpnds, you will get an additional compounding bonus of 25%. That means every day you get 1.25% instead of the 1% they promised. That is pretty awesome. That percentage does go down as your node grows. Once you're over 5,000 VPNDs, the bonus drops to 15%, and when you're over 10,000, it drops to 10%. And finally, when your node reaches the size of 20,000 VPNDs, the bonus goes away completely. I think that's a really nice touch and a great way to incentivize lots of new and smaller investors to join the project. VaporFi would also really like you to reinvest your rewards rather than cashing them out, so they have diamond hand bonuses as well. Bonuses? Bonusi? Nah, let's go with bonuses. If you leave money in the project for 3 days, meaning you don't claim your rewards and you don't compound them back in, you'll get a set of beautiful copper diamond hands and an additional 5% boost on top of your rewards. I'm not sure I've even seen copper diamonds before, but I will definitely take an additional 5%. If you leave your rewards for 7 days, your hands will turn silver and your boost goes to a full 20%. And if you're patient enough to leave your rewards for 15 days without touching them, hands off, don't touch them, you will then get the best kind of diamond hands there are, the golden ones, and your rewards boost will go to a full 40%. Let's sum this up to see where we're at. You start a node with 1,000 VPNDs today for around $30. You will immediately then get a yield of 1% per day, plus the 25% compounding bonus for being under 5,000 VPNDs. After 15 days of itching to do something with your rewards, but patiently leaving them alone, you will have accumulated an additional 280 VPNDs. At this point, you will also have the golden diamond hands, and your rewards will now be accumulating at a staggering 1.75% per day. So VaporFi doesn't have different node options with different reward structures, but they do have the bonuses, and those can be a little tricky to keep track of. Luckily, they have been kind enough to supply us with a calculator that can do all of the math for you. The calculator can be found right here on their website. It's not the first one you get to. You actually have to click through this calculator icon, and then you get to this second link, and once you open that, then you get to the good stuff. So let's look at what our example from before can turn into. That same node we started a little bit earlier with 1,000 VPNDs, which, as you recall, is currently around $30. If you start compounding your rewards back into the node starting on day 16 and then compound them every day for an entire year, that node will then have grown to a total value of around $7,000. If you then stop compounding at that point, your node will spit out $89 worth of rewards every single day. In theory, forever. That works out to be an annual salary of 89 times 365, which is $32,485, all because you decided not to take your partner or your mom or your dog to a movie and instead spend that $30 on a VaporFi node. Of course, these calculations are subject to a lot of things going perfect for VaporFi. The two biggest ones are that enough users have to continually join the project and the price of VPND has to remain stable or even go up. Those are some very, very lofty and frankly very unlikely scenarios, but if they do go right, boy oh boy will you be happy. But Henrik, I've been watching other videos about VaporFi and they came up with a much bigger daily rewards number at the end of 1 year. What's up with that? Your video sucks. Well, thank you for that. I watched some of those videos as well, and here's what happens. Since those other videos were created, the current price of VPND has dropped quite a bit. If you also look closely, you will notice that the cost for setting up a 1000 VPND node in my example is less than it would be in some of those other videos. All of this just goes to show that we really need to pay attention to all of the details in the videos and the price of the underlying token whenever we watch YouTube armchair experts, like me, talk about these investment projects. If you're wondering where all of these tokens go when the investors compound them back into the project, here is VaporFi's official distribution breakdown. 10% goes back into the liquidity pool, which is great. We want the project to have good liquidity. And 10% goes to the team, to marketing efforts, and to general expenses and their partnership pool. And a full 80% goes to the project's treasury, with 25% being swapped into AVAX tokens immediately. What is the treasury, you might ask? Well, it's the project's treasure chest, or in this case, the slew of investments that VaporFi hopes will generate enormous returns for the benefits of all of us. You can look up what's in the treasury at any time in the VaporFi documentation. So far, it looks like they have invested in some strong nodes, various other tokens, and a validator on the Avalanche network. Since VaporFi is a DAO, you as an investor also get to vote on any upcoming treasury purchases. If you jump back into their Discord, you can see a list of all of the proposals they have coming up, and you get to vote on these proposals based on how many VPNDs you currently have. As with all DAOs, this means that the project to a certain extent is run by the community, which is a great thought, at least in theory. Now that we have that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the things that I really like about the project and a few things that I don't. On the plus side, at least 2 of the founders are fully doxed and public personas. You can find them online and even watch videos with them where they talk about the VaporFi project. You can also find them on Twitter. If you see, here is Jose and here are Tom, the main founders of the projects, and man, they look like a couple of nice and smart enough guys. I do like to know who I'm dealing with, so for me, being able to see them and potentially interact with them is a huge plus. You can, of course, also go on the project's Discord server to read all about them and about the project, which is something I highly recommend doing. Joining the Discord is always step 1 for me whenever I'm looking at new crypto projects. I also really like VaporFi's low barrier to entry. I think most people can probably afford to drop in $30 for what essentially is a lottery ticket, but at least it's a lottery ticket that has some kind of roadmap. VaporFi has also been touted for the ability to simply add funds to your existing nodes. If you don't want to wait for the compounding to do its magic, you can just buy more VPNDs and pour them into your node. I'm not sure how great of a feature this actually is, since bigger nodes end up with smaller yields due to the bonus structure, but I do like that the option at least is there. If the project ends up doing really well, you can quickly scale up to receive even higher rewards by just putting more money into the project. Another super cool thing VaporFi recently added is a referral program. Since most of these virtual node projects survive on Ponzi or pyramid tactics, referral links are a great way to attract new investors. I went ahead and got a link of my own, so if you do decide that VaporFi is something that you want to try, I'll leave you a direct link down below. That way you can get into the investment safely from a trusted link, and I'll get a few more VPNDs to talk about on this channel. That's a win for everyone. And once you get your own node set up, you can get a referral link as well. If you are a social media whiz or just have a lot of friends, that can be a great way to earn more VPNDs for your node. VaporFi currently pays 5% on all referrals, so it can really add up quickly. Another thing I really like is the diamond hand bonuses we talked about earlier. They incentivize people to pour their rewards back into the system, and that's good for everyone involved. The fewer people who cash out their claims, at least in the beginning of the project, the better. Another thing I want to mention on the plus side is that VaporFi has added RPC endpoints to each individual node. What are those, you might ask? Well, they allow you to connect your wallet directly to your node. In theory, this should speed up your transactions and result in lower gas fees. My experience so far has been mixed. I've had compounding requests hang, and the gas fees seem to still vary wildly, so make sure you keep an eye on those whenever you do any VPND transactions. One more thing on the plus side, the project is fully audited, which may or may not be important to you, but at least they went through the effort, which is always a nice thing. The contracts that they have are also multi-sig. This in itself won't prevent the rug pull, but at least you know the project will be difficult to hack and it can't be taken down by just one rogue developer. An even bigger plus is that the liquidity pool for the project is locked for the foreseeable future. Having the liquidity locked is similar to putting the funds into a trust for a set amount of time. During the lockup time, the project owners themselves can't just pull out all of the project's liquid funds and run away. Now, let's talk about the few minuses, because there are a few of those as well. The biggest red flag is similar to most of all of these other SCAM virtual node projects, and it's the fact that they don't actually do anything. There is nothing in VaporFi that produces any inherent value. In fact, I find it very ironic and maybe even somewhat humorous that they named the project Vapor. It's like they're giving us a hint up front. The investments they do are cool, but the return yields that they promise rely pretty much 100% on new investors continuing to pour into the project and add liquidity. We used to call projects like that Ponzi schemes, and they were illegal. These days, we use the much nicer term Ponzi-nomics, which apparently whitewashes all of the negative sides of Ponzi schemes. By setting the entry bar very low with the 1,000 VPND minimum investment, it is possible that the Vapor craze can keep going longer, and the longer a Ponzi-nomics project can run, the better it is for the early participants. If you are old enough to remember chain letters, that is pretty much exactly what the VaporFi project is. We just swapped out modern technology for good old envelopes and stamps. Do you know what stamps are, kids? We used to have to lick pieces of paper whenever we wanted to send anyone anything. I know, that's crazy, right? And I'm not even making this up. Another entry in the minus column is Vapify's uniqueness, or rather their lack thereof. Virtual node or SCAM projects are popping up like mushrooms, and they are all competing for the same investors. VaporFi doesn't offer anything that can't be found in a lot of these other projects, so competition is going to be intense. A lot relies on how effective they can be in pushing out their project through influencers and social media campaigns. I've obviously put a little bit of money into the project, so I hope they'll continue to do well. If you decide to put a few dollars in it too, we can continue to hope together. Speaking of the future, VaporFi has just announced that they will be releasing their own blockchain, the Vapor Chain, very soon. Vapor Chain will be a subnet of the Avalanche network, which is currently one of the fastest growing networks out there. By having their own blockchain, they're hoping to have other crypto projects built on the VaporFi chain, which will lead to both increased income, more overall exposure, and even more credibility. And all of those are obviously good things. On top of that, existing VPND owners will get to join in as well with allocations of a brand new coin on the Vapor chain based on their current number of VPND tokens. NFTs are also rumored to be coming, not in the form of apes or any other memes like that, but as NFT ebooks. And this, I think, is a super creative concept, and I really hope they can make that work. Other rumors center around VPND yield and possibly even a VPND messaging app. There are no further details on either of those rumors just yet. I'm also hearing that VaporFi may break with the trend among crypto projects to mostly invest in other crypto ventures. Instead, VaporFi wants to also invest in the old school, physical world of cash flowing businesses. I don't know if you think that's a good or a bad move, but I'd love to hear your opinion about it down below. I do like it because it shows creativity and it keeps VaporFi diversified so they don't have all of their investments in the giant house of cards that currently is made up by all of the low and medium grade crypto projects that are floating around out there. But enough of all that theoretical talk. I'll bet what you really want to know is, how are my VPND investments doing? For that, let's jump over to my VaporFi dashboard. And as a quick recap, I purchased 6,000 VPNDs for around $390 about 3 weeks ago, on February 11th to be exact. My total pool of VPNDs has since grown to 8,465 VPNDs, plus a few rewards that I still need to compound. As a reminder, whatever is in your pool is essentially gone. You'll never see those coins again, ever. Instead, what you do get are the daily rewards, which you can choose to either compound or claim out to yourself. When I created my VPND investment, I split it into two nodes, one with 4,000 VPNDs and another one with 2,000 VPNDs. Why? Well, mostly because I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I wanted to have options depending on the size of my nodes. If I had to do it over today, I would probably have created 5 smaller nodes instead to take advantage of the higher node bonus for smaller nodes. As you can also see here, both of my nodes currently have the coveted golden diamond hands, so both of them have a daily yield of 1.4%. for rewards. In addition to that, my bigger node has the 15% bonus and my smaller node has the 25% bonus based on the node's size. This makes the total daily yield for the bigger node 1.4 multiplied by 1.15, which works out to be 1.61%. And for the smaller node, it's 1.4 multiplied by 1.25, which works out to be a full 1.75%. Those are some pretty darn good daily yields. And since I've been doing daily compounding, my total number of VPNDs has also grown from 6,000 to the 8,465. And if we look at that here, we can see that 6,000 grown to 8,465 comes out to be a return of roughly 34%. Keep in mind that you only reach the max diamond hand bonus level after 15 days, so the funds have only been growing at their maximum rate for about a week or so. In the coming weeks, they will be growing even faster. So in rough numbers, if I were to start claiming my rewards today, my nodes will pay me around $3 per day or around $90 per month, which means it would take me a little over 3.25 months to break even. But since I'm viewing this investment more as a gamble, I'm going to keep compounding for a while longer to grow my overall pool size so I can get to a much higher daily rewards level before I start pulling money out of the project. What about you? Are you invested in VaporFi or in any of these other crazy crypto projects? Let me know down below if you are, and if you are, what you like about VaporFi and maybe what you don't like about it. I would love to hear from you. And also, if you're interested in setting up your own VaporFi node, they have super great tutorials available on how to do just that. I'm going to leave a link to those tutorials down below as well. I also highly suggest that you join the VaporFi Discord server to keep up on VaporFi news. The Discord is also a great place to ask questions, People are super nice, and usually someone will answer your question more or less right away. And if you want to watch more videos about another crypto projects that I'm invested in, check out this video right here. That's all for this episode. Have a great day, and may the crypto odds be ever in your favor. Bye-bye.